YB stays on your neck.
I mean, especially in the heavyweight division, that's a crime. You get found anything that is a fucking crime. You are trying to commit a murder. You know, people always criticize me about what I'm talking, but you know, their actions speak louder than my words any day. And I think it's needed. Some justice need to be done about this. And it need to be done fast. Someone has to be. Someone has to be the guinea pig, and someone has to have the law laid down on them. Some justice need to be done about this. Then it need to be done fast. Someone has to be the guinea pig, and someone has to have the law laid down on them to show others like this is very wrong.
Yo, my dance, make sure you hit that like button, comment, subscribe, and obviously hit the bell for notifications. So we just heard there from Deontay Wilder. I did a video yesterday talking about how the WBA and IBF have taken off Dillian Whyte from their rankings, and how essentially the WBC, unfortunately, the WBC are in a tricky situation because Dillian Whyte is pledged to the WBC, so they can't pull a WBA or IBF job where they can just remove him. Yeah, Dillian Whyte is the mandatory challenger, 100% the silver champion, 100%. He is lined up perfectly. He is cleared by VADA. So the WBC are going to have to be a bit more sneaky with it. But the reason I bring that up is because I want you to listen to the words, or you've heard the words there, from Deontay Wilder. And I want to talk about what he said there. He says, yeah man, justice needs to be done. Yeah, and justice needs to be done fast, man, yeah. Someone needs to be the guinea pig. Someone needs to have the law laid down on them hard. All this business. And the reason I'm bringing this up is because, quite scarily enough actually, I've got some exclusive content coming out, but I'll give you lot the jump on it quickly now. This is what we do know, this is the facts, this is a timeline, yeah? Povetkin, clean as you like. Minute he becomes linked with Wilder, he pops, yeah? Luis Ortiz, clean as you like. Minute he becomes linked with Wilder, he pops. Dillian Whyte, as clean as you like. The minute, not necessarily, what you got to realise is, naive people might sit there and say, oh well, it's pure chance, but what I struggle with it is, Dillian Whyte has gradually been getting closer and closer and closer. Ortiz was gradually getting closer and closer and closer. Povetkin was getting closer and closer and closer. And all that time that they were getting closer to the sweetness, to the sweet smelling ass of Wilder, nothing happened. But the minute Wilder Povetkin was on, he popped. The minute Ortiz versus Wilder was on, he popped. The minute we hear that Dillian Whyte's been mandated literally 2 days later. Is this pure coincidence? I'm sorry, I really am. I'm struggling to understand how this is coincidental. I really am struggling. Especially when you then factor in when Dillian Whyte was caught off camera saying, I've been set up. Now my issue with Dillian is, not to go on a tangent, but my issue with Dillian is, I don't understand why he's not coming out and saying that himself. A lot of you, man, want me to back Dillian and spout all the conspiracy theory, but he's got to give us something. I said it myself. If Dillian had to come out on that statement and put one more line at the bottom of that little tweet he put out and said, "Oh, I just want my fans to know I've been set up." If he did that, or I just want my fans to know I'm 100% innocent. He didn't do that. He didn't mention anything about innocence or conspiracy. So he left us pissing in the wind. Now, based on my information, something's not adding up here. Something's not right with how all of these things have played out. The minute people who have, now I don't even really rate Ortiz, but this isn't about what I rate. This is about Wilder. We know Wilder was scared of a 63-year-old man at the time, Ortiz. We know he was in fear of Povetkin's left hook. We know listen, never mind Povetkin's left hook, Dillian Whyte's left hook. We know Dillian Whyte and Mark Tibbs were strategizing to step in, slip Wilder's leaky right hand, and bang him right over the top of a left hook and sleep the dude. Sleep him. Yeah? Beep. Flatline him. That's what we do know. That was in the pipeline. Lining Wilder up nicely for it. What does Wilder do? Wilder, I've heard that Gaiman has got contacts in UCAD. He phoned his UK contacts and got to put the fix in. That's what I'm hearing, allegedly. Anyway, back to the point of this video. The reason I've set the scene there is to say this. Now, you've got to realise, Povetkin and Ortiz, they were particular levels. Povetkin was old and Ortiz was old. Ortiz never beat no one, yeah? Dillian Whyte is a different calibre. Dillian Whyte is young, hungry, and he has the left hook, the sleeper in him. Show me where you've seen Chisora sleeping before. I'll tell you what, I'll tell a lie. I think David Haye got him good, but listen, David Haye in 2011 was probably the most explosive thing since sliced bread. Let's not forget, in fact, let's get it straight. I'm pretty sure, was it not the case? Was it not the camp? I'm pretty sure it might have been. Was it not the camp that David Haye completely spanked Deontay Wilder? Was that not the camp that he fought Chisora in? I'm pretty sure it was. And if it wasn't the camp, I'm pretty sure it was around that time at least. It might not have been the exact camp, but it was around the time. 2011 was around the time that David Haye brought in Wilder as his heavy bag session. Yeah? David Haye brought Wilder in. It's documented. You can watch it on YouTube. Deontay Wilder was brought in as a heavy bag, as a big, stiff USA heavy bag for David Haye. David Haye was boxing circles around him, hitting him with all sorts, making him look silly. His legs, look, you know you can go to them shops and you can buy them sweets, which are like twisted up. His legs look like one of them Fruity Loop sweets. His legs were all twisted all over the place, falling all over. David Haye was running rings around him, hitting him at will. I heard that Deontay Wilder, after the first sparring session, I've heard from good sources inside David Haye's team and Wilder's team actually, it's been confirmed, that Wilder was actually asking whether he could put 2 head guards on. He said, listen, I've got quite a small head, so do you think it's possible for the next sparring session, we can try and squeeze an extra small on, and then maybe put an extra large over the top, but it wouldn't fit. That's what I've heard. He was begging to put 2 headgears on, because David Haye was taking his head clean off. My point is, at the point, Derek Chisora got laid out by Haye. Haye was the most explosive thing since sliced bread. The only other guy who else has iced Chisora like? You got David Haye, who was the most explosive thing since sliced bread in 2011, and you got Dillian Whyte. They're the only 2 people. And let's not forget as well, I'm not being funny. Derek Chisora in 2011, when Haye got to him, he weren't really all that. This Chisora versus Dillian Whyte was winning the fight. Let's not forget, he was winning the fight. Great pressure, but Dillian Whyte, and that's what I've heard, that Deontay Wilder, he actually saw the Dillian Whyte versus Chisora 2 fight, and he didn't like what he was seeing, because he realised, as I was saying, he realised from that fight that Wilder could be winning the fight against Dillian Whyte, but Wilder's scared he wouldn't be sure whether he's being set up. Look at Chisora. Chisora was winning the fight until he got set up. And that's what Wilder saw, the Chisora versus Whyte fight, and thought, you know what, I don't want none of that. I don't want none of that business, where I get a little bit, we've already seen Wilder tired in the latter rounds. He thought, I don't want none of that business, where I start getting a bit tired, and Dillian Whyte walks me on to a big, slamming left hook. That's what I'm hearing anyway. Listen, if Wilder don't like the truth, he needs to talk to people in his team who are giving him the exclusive drops. Factual. Anyway, like I was saying, Dillian Whyte ain't no... Many of you may be thinking, oh well, why didn't Wilder ask to have Povetkin struck off? Why didn't Wilder ask to have Ortiz struck off? And this is what I'm trying to get. Let me backtrack a bit, because I've probably lost people there. But listen, what I'm trying to say is, when Povetkin popped, Wilder didn't want no parts of him, to be fair. But let's leave that one, but let's take Ortiz. When Ortiz popped, Wilder was still adamant that he wanted that fight. He wanted Ortiz because he was 64 years old at the time, and Ortiz ain't really done much. Ortiz is one of the biggest myths in boxing, if the truth be known. He's one of the biggest myths in boxing ever. I've never seen a guy be so old, have done nothing, have won nothing, have beat no one, and have such a good rep. That's the truth of it. And that's why Wilder wanted him. But even then, initially, Wilder got scared. Wilder had to drag him out and make Ortiz inactive. That's why Wilder put something in his test. Ortiz popped dirty, and that meant that Ortiz was off for about a year. He couldn't fight, could he? And then he went straight into the Wilder fight. Wilder was buying inactivity. He was planting inactivity, and that looks like what? No. I was about to say that looks like what he's trying to do with Dillian Whyte, but he's not trying to do that. He's trying to strike Dillian Whyte off completely, and that's what this video is about. Because we hear Wilder here saying categorically, "Yeah, man, justice needs to be done. Justice needs to be done fast. Yeah, someone needs to be the guinea pig of justice. Yeah, the law needs to be laid down on someone." That someone, the topic of what Wilder's saying is Dillian Whyte. He's not talking about someone. He knows. You can literally place Dillian Whyte into that thing. Let's do it again. Yeah, man. Justice needs to be done on Dillian Whyte. Justice needs to be done fast on Dillian Whyte. Dillian Whyte needs to be the guinea pig. Dillian Whyte needs to have the law laid down on him. You've heard it from his mouth, 100%. That there was a voice clipping from an exclusive unheard interview from Wilder. You've heard it from him. He said categorically there, he wants justice to be done against Dillian Whyte. And this is what you've got to also listen to the actual words he's saying. He doesn't want the truth. He says he wants justice done fast. Historically and statistically speaking, you can't do justice fast, Wilder. So it really makes me question what you actually want here. Do you want to fight the best, or do you want a guy to quickly get shoved away in the background? That's what it sounds like. Why do you want justice to be done so fast for? Do you not want the correct result, or do you just want the quickest result that keeps you safe, that keeps you from getting timed and put flat on your back? That's what it sounds like to me. It sounds like you got so much fear in your body coursing through your veins that you just want Dillian Whyte out of the situation ASAP. You're not cared about the truth. The other thing you got to ask yourself: how is Wilder so confident about this justice being done? Is it possible he has inside information? Is it possible that he knows why Dillian Whyte's popped for? Because he put it in there himself, or because of Al Gaiman's contacts in UCAD? Is that a possibility? I don't know. And then he says here as well, what was it? Oh yeah, so someone needs to be Dillian Whyte needs to be the guinea pig. Dillian Whyte needs to have the law laid down on him hard. Why didn't Wilder want the law laid down on Ortiz? I tell you why. Ortiz, 64 years old. Ortiz never beat no one. Ortiz never really done anything at all. Literally, never. He's a massive hype job. That's why you don't see Wilder back in 2017 talking about, oh yeah, man, the law needs to be laid down on Ortiz, man. Yeah, the law needs to be laid down on the 65-year-old man, Ortiz, man. You don't hear him saying that because he was happy to fight Ortiz. He just wanted to make sure he was really inactive. Let's get it straight. Ortiz, at the best of times, was inactive. But Wilder didn't even want to fight an inactive 64-year-old man. He wanted to fight a man who's literally been out the ring for about 3 years. Ortiz had at the time. Wilder fought him. This Dillian Whyte, if you can't read between the lines on this one, is shocking. Wilder doesn't want any parts of Dillian Whyte at all. And as I keep mentioning, my issue is I haven't heard him actually mention the truth once. People have criticised the YB saying, "Oh, you're a Dillian Whyte hater." All I've ever said from the start is I want the truth to come out, and ideally I want the truth to be in Dillian Whyte's favour. However, what I'm not going to do is I'm not going to support Dillian regardless. Oh, well, he's a UK fighter. I don't give a f what he is. Being dirty is being dirty, UK fighter or not. If you want to support a dirty UK fighter, you do that. That's not what's happening here though. I want the truth to come out, bottom line. Ideally, I want that truth to be Dillian Whyte clean. You don't hear the truth from Wilder. He just wants fast justice, aka he wants Dillian Whyte struck off, and you've already seen it in motion with the WBC. The WBC follows Varda. So wait there, I think it was about a week ago now. The WBC suspended him. But then Varda came out after the suspension and actually cleared him. So my question is, with the same haste that the same speed the WBC took to suspend Dillian, why haven't they come out after Varda came out and cleared him and said, you know what, we're revoking Dillian Whyte's suspension on the basis that he's being cleared by the body we follow? And we already know in terms of jurisdiction, UCAD has no jurisdiction in the US. As proved by Eric Molina. Eric Molina is banned in the UK, by the way, but he's been fighting merrily in the US. So I'm confused. how WBC and VADA are entertaining what UK are doing at all. Bottom line is, Dillian Whyte cleared in the US, so why is, and by VADA, so why is the WBC taking this line of business? I'll tell you why, because Wilder, I've heard from sources inside the WBC who've told me that he's been on the phone categorically. Him and Maurizio have been on the phone for hours talking about how justice needs to be done fast and how the law needs to be laid down on him. Why does the law need to be laid down on Dillian? What has Dillian Whyte done apart from put the fear of God into you, Wilder? Is that what he's being charged with? That's what it looks like to me. Dillian Whyte, never mind Debo, Dillian Whyte's charged with putting the fear of God into Deontay Wilder. The left hook, the God-fearing left hook. Yeah? I've heard from very good sources inside Wilder's camp who have told me that Deontay Wilder, the way Deontay Wilder has his own little saying for Dillian Whyte's left hook. He calls it the God-fearing left hook because he knows when Dillian Whyte touches him with it, it puts the sheer thought of it touching him on his whiskers, on his little skinny legs. The sheer thought of it touching him on his whiskers, and that chemical and that chemical electrical flow flowing through his little chicken legs. That puts the sheer thought of it puts the fear of God into him. That's what I've heard from people anyway. You don't want no parts of it, and listen to the words the man's damn saying, man. It shouldn't take me a 15-minute video to explain it, but people are hard of damn hearing. He said he wants to fight the best. What's that? What is fighting the best got to do with justice needs to be done fast? What is it? Is it pure coincidence? The first proper actual fighting guy you're due to fight, all of a sudden you want him to be the guinea pig. You want him to have the law laid down on him hard. You should, if anything, you should not want that. You should be saying, you know what? Never mind me want. Listen, when Ortiz popped, he said I'll fight Ortiz dirty. He had no problem doing that, and that's why Wilder actually pressured the WBC to fight Ortiz, because the WBC ended up overlooking his dirty test in the end. The WBA banned Ortiz for a year. The WBC overlooked him, factually. Overlooked it. Why do you think that was? Because Wilder was on the blower, begging to fight a 63-year-old man. Why isn't he on the blower to Maurizio saying, please unsuspend Dillian Whyte? I want to fight him. I want to fight the best. I want to fight a young, hungry lion. Nope. Instead, oh man, the law needs to be laid down on him. The law needs to be laid down on him. He needs to be the guinea pig. Muppet.